this, John. We are following these cases of pneumonia in children specifically. They're flooding hospitals in China at the moment. And now Massachusetts and Ohio are seeing a similar surge.
Impacts the lungs. Those who come down with it have cough, fever, sometimes even breathing difficulties. But what's happening in China is different. People are coming down with high fever. There is lung inflammation, but there is no cough. This is no normal pneumonia, you see. Also, Wuhan virus, remember, began as an unexplained pneumonia. ProMed, an international disease surveillance platform, had raised questions about an unknown virus in late 2019, right before the Wuhan virus jumped borders. The same surveillance platform has once again issued an alert over this mysterious pneumonia in China.
So what exactly is going on in Ohio, and should the rest of the country be concerned?
Right.
What do we need to know, and what do we need to be ready for next? Lots of things going on, but what has my attention is the possible next pandemic. We've went over this China mystery pneumonia. It's not going away. It's getting worse. They're talking about travel bans. Numbers are rising, and we're at the front end of cold and flu season. Some important information you guys should know coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff you need to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. It's cold. What comes with winter is the flu season, the cold season. And with that, we got to stay healthy. That's got to be a huge awareness factor going into the winter. How some of you guys might do that: you want to take the vaxxers, you want to take the flu one, there's probably a cold one, now there's a pneumonia one I hear. Personally, I don't trust that. I attack it the natural way. And you guys want to learn about defenses the natural way, watch this video, because not all natural remedies out there, natural supplements, are the same. And when I say most of them, 90% or more at the grocery store, natural supplements owned by the same people giving you the vaccines. That's right. So how much can you trust that? Anyway, if you guys are trying not to get this pneumonia thing that's circulating and I think's gonna get worse, make sure you guys watch this video. It might help. Now, a big thing on my mind, because I travel so much, is these travel bans. It's in discussion right now. Biden's looking over it. I mean, check out this new news about it evolving in the United States right now.
And now this, John. We are following these cases of pneumonia in children specifically. They're flooding hospitals in China at the moment. And now Massachusetts and Ohio are seeing a similar surge. One county outside of Cincinnati has seen 142 cases of this so-called white lung syndrome. This has been going on since August.
I told you guys a couple days ago that it was likely that this would start ramping up, and that's exactly what's going on. Now, we hear that in China, it's the mycoplasmal type of pneumonia, but here in the United States, they're trying to tell us that it's something different. It's also the mystery pneumonia, but then some places are saying that it's normal, but it's not. But even though they don't really know what's going on, they've given it the name white lung pneumonia. Let's hear how the doctor on the news channel is putting it out there.
Doctor, we're calling you up because we want to know how important it is that this is happening. If there is any expectation this is going to spread, tell us about it. What do we need to know?
Well, Sandra, first of all, it's not exactly the same thing, I think, going on in China and across Europe that we're seeing here. They're related, but let me tell you, in China, it looks like it's a bug called mycoplasma, which is an atypical bacteria, which is growing in resistance to antibiotics there. And so it gets you sicker than it used to. And in an area in northern China where there was a lot of lockdowns up until the end of 2022, which were then relieved, the immune system just waking up to these viruses and bacteria again, it looks like mycoplasma has really spread and gotten kids very sick.
So now one of the controversial things about what he just said is the growing backlash against vaccines. So apparently this mycoplasmal type of sickness is growing resistance. Some people are saying it's related to the thing they got, because in the Pfizer one, it's listed as a side effect. That's right. I put a link in that video, so you might want to watch this video after this one. Let's pay attention to what else he's putting out there.
viruses and bacteria again. It looks like mycoplasma has really spread and gotten kids very sick. That looks like what we're seeing in Netherlands and Denmark as well, which also had lockdowns in 2022. Here in the United States, we saw in Ohio, we're seeing in Ohio 142 cases of the white lung syndrome you're talking about, and we're seeing some of it in western Massachusetts. But it looks to me and to CDC that it might be more related to RSV, that virus we talk about all the time, in very young children, which again got rolled back. We didn't see a lot of it during the pandemic because of all the lockdowns and shutdowns and closures. We're seeing more of it last year, and we're seeing even more of it this year.
So just with his language, he just said they don't know what this is. They're still trying to figure it out. They're saying it's not what's going on in China, even though they don't know what's going on in China. And they're saying it's more related to this other stuff, but yet they don't really know. Now, there's been reports that they don't want to call this the mystery pneumonia because it'll promote panic in the United States. Like someone said in the comments on my last video, they're like, well, white lung sounds scarier than mystery pneumonia. And I was thinking, yeah, white lung. Kind of reminds me of White Fang, the movie back in the day, or the book. I'm not sure white lung sounds any better than mystery pneumonia, especially when we all know they don't know what it is. Listen to this. This confirms what I said a minute ago.
But one thing's for sure, we cannot necessarily trust all the public health information coming out of China. And so that gets us nervous right from the get-go, because we've been lied to before, and WHO has made statements that haven't borne out about COVID when it first started.
See what I'm saying? They don't know what's going on in China, yet they claim that what we got is different than what they got. We can't believe what China is saying or telling us, but what's going on here? Completely different, right? These are the things that you pay attention to know that things just don't add up. So always good to know, what's the CDC saying about this?
Mandy Cohen said to me today, the head of CDC, as of today, CDC is not seeing an increase of the evidence of increase of related to levels of mycoplasma across the country, but we have been watching it closely. So they're looking carefully to see if what we're seeing in China comes here, but so far not.
Like I said, to me, that sounds like they're saying one thing, but then they don't even know what they're saying. Let's actually hear the language from the CDC person.
Owen, CDC director, here she is in her own words, their assessment of what's going on so far.
We do not believe this is a new or novel pathogen. We believe this is all existing, meaning COVID, flu, RSV, mycoplasma. Even though those are both going up and we're at the peak of RSV, COVID is still the respiratory virus that is putting the most number of folks in the hospital and taking their lives.
But still, people are hearing about this, Dr. Siegel. And I don't want it. You know, everybody's seen what's happened in Ohio. I mean, they had so many cases, enough there for the Ohio Department of Health to define this as an actual outbreak. The CDC, while they're saying nothing's out of the ordinary, this is a whole lot of people that are getting sick.
A whole lot of people getting sick, considered an outbreak, but nothing out of the ordinary to the CDC. And do note, she said, we think. So they definitely don't know.
Hopkins University says they would caution against extrapolating one Ohio county to a country of 330 million people. I think it's important to keep that in perspective, as you are, Dr. Siegel. This is a picture of what this white lung syndrome looks like in an X-ray. It's not good, Dr. Siegel. So knowing that this is out there, knowing it's popping up in places like Ohio and Massachusetts and could end up other places, can we be doing anything to prevent ourselves from getting it?
Sales pitch, maybe? Well, now take one guess. Do you think that they're gonna say healthy diet, take your vitamins, exercise, vitamins and minerals, or are you voting that their solve is something else? Let's find out.
Says it's early in the flu season, so it's not the flu that's predominating here. It's COVID, as she says, and RSV. What can you do? You know, you can still get your flu shot if you haven't gotten it yet. And we have RSV shots for those at high risk, the elderly, because they could be spreading it. So I would look into that issue. You know, there's also the COVID shot. There's also the issue of ventilation.
See what I mean? They've got a shot for that, a shot for that. And remember, they said this doesn't look like that. It looks more like this. And by the way, we've got a shot for that one too. Don't suppose they'd add masks into the mix.
There's also the issue of ventilation. Recent studies have shown that all of the excess focus on masks, by the way, and mandates ignore the fact that stuff flies through the air. We're talking about a respiratory virus here. So is your window open? Do you have filters? You know, think how close together are you with someone who's sick? If you're coughing and sneezing, stay away from people, Sandra. Wash your hands. All of that is stuff you have to pay attention to, and we haven't been.
Just stay home. Don't go anywhere. Stay away from people. I don't know. The buildup of this turning into something, the buildup of this, more of you staying at home, more of you making sure that you're covered. It just seems highly possible to me that this could turn into something, especially being this early in the winter. Now, trust me, I hope that this is just a mild little thing. It'll pass. Although I have been hearing a lot of people are sick. Put it down in the comments. Have you heard about people being sick? I have personally heard quite a few people that I know, a good percentage, more than normal, more than the last couple months, have been sick, or they know somebody that's been sick, or they're taking care of someone that's sick. So the pace is definitely picking up. Is it fairly mild? I think so from what I'm hearing, but I would agree that the numbers are climbing. When they tell me the numbers are climbing, I don't necessarily believe it. But when I start hearing through talking to people and the people I know, and I personally notice the numbers going up, that's when I think the numbers are going up. And it's normal across the board for this time of year for the numbers to go up. Question a lot of us are asking, is this going to turn into a pandemic? Are we going to have lockdowns and travel bans? We've got Reuters reporting 5 senators ask Biden to impose China travel ban after respiratory illness cases. Some people are concerned. Stop this before it spreads. Personally, I think it's a little too late, but let's hear this request and what the Biden administration had to say. The rise in cases became a global issue last week when the WHO asked China for more information, citing a report on clusters of undiagnosed pneumonia in children by the Program for Monitoring Emerging Diseases. The Biden administration officially said the United States was closely monitoring the uptick in respiratory illness in China, but added, "We are seeing seasonal trends. Nothing is appearing out of the ordinary. At this time, there is no indication that there is a link between the people who are seeking care in the U.S. emergency departments and the outbreak of respiratory illness in China." And that was about 5 or 6 days ago from filming this video. And now we got 3 days ago, news reports of pneumonia outbreak in Ohio. Kids has parents worried it's spreading. Know these symptoms. But again, pay attention to the language. We can't trust China. They don't tell us the truth, but it's not the same stuff going on in China. These are the things that I pay attention to. Pieces of the puzzle that just don't make sense. And that is the glorious part about being able to think for yourself. Now, if you Google search this, you're going to find all kinds of articles rather than the updates of what's happening right this second, more news related topics about how this is not related to China. This is not the same thing that China is experiencing. All at the same time, we can't trust what China tells us. Like I said, if you guys are staying up on your health, be sure to watch this video. Some very eye-opening things about natural supplements you may not know about and who's running the outfits. Again, I'll be paying close attention to this and I'll be keeping you guys posted. Got a lot of good stuff coming up this weekend. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you on the next one.